APS professional Alejandra Ruiz is visiting the home of 72-year-old Goldie Rosenberg. APS is responding to a report that Goldie's daughter, Lisa Rosenberg, has physically abused her. Alejandra has already assessed for her own safety and begun the initial interview. Information about APS and the nature of the allegations have been explained.
Mrs. Rosenberg, earlier I mentioned...
You can call me Goldie. And it's Ms. Rosenberg, for your records. I'm divorced.
Okay, Goldie. I'll use Miss Rosenberg for our records. You said Miss, and I don't want to make any assumptions. What gender do you identify as?
I'm female, and I appreciate your asking.
Sure. I mentioned earlier I'm here to talk to you about an allegation of physical abuse. I'd like to spend some time today discussing that with you. Is that something you feel comfortable with?
Comfortable is not the word I would use, but we can.
Well, I appreciate your willingness to have an uncomfortable conversation with me.
Yeah. I've been afraid to tell anybody about it. I don't want Lisa to be in trouble. That's my daughter. And she has enough problems going on in her life.
I hear what you're saying, and that's understandable. What would help you feel more safe to discuss it with me?
Well, if you could help me understand what the process is and what might happen if I tell you this.
Okay, yes. I can explain the process to you and answer any questions as we go along. How does that sound?
That sounds okay.
Thank you. So, to answer your question, the way an APS assessment works in general is I gather some information from you about the allegations, meaning that I will be asking you some questions to see what's happening and assess for your safety. And then we decide together what you want to do to help you be more safe. If needed, we can develop a safety plan together, one that you agree on. I can also talk with you about some interventions and resources that may be available to you, and some steps you can take if you choose. Some of which I might be able to navigate with you or offer support. The goal here is to focus on your well-being.
All right. That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. You mentioned that you don't want your daughter to be in trouble. Now that you understand a little bit more about our process, can you tell me a little more about that?
Okay. Yeah. Lisa has lost her temper with me a few times. Most recently, she was here cleaning out the stuff out of her old room so I could use the room for something else, and she just lost it.
Can you describe what you mean by lost it?
Well, she kind of grabbed my arm and left little bruises.
I can see that. Thank you for telling me. Can you tell me more about what happened?
So I'm not sure how much you want to know. A few years ago, I divorced Lisa's father after I met a woman in an art class and fell in love with her. It seems like Lisa's been angry with me ever since she was a teenager. But after I left her father for Jackie, she really got angry with me. And her father Says stuff like how I ruined his life. Yeah, things like that. When I asked Lisa to clear the stuff out of her old bedroom so that Jackie could put her stuff in, she got even more angry. Lisa moved out a long time ago, but Jackie just sold her house, and she's moving in with me so we can start our life together.
I appreciate you sharing this information with me. It helps me gain a better understanding about you and your situation and what you've been experiencing. I'd like to ask, what was happening in the moments before Lisa grabbed your arm?
Well, Lisa was mad about having to move her stuff out of her room, and she was huffing around and slamming stuff and practically throwing the boxes. And I said, "Can't you just calm down? Why can't you be more rational about this?" And she said, "You're asking me to be rational? When have you ever been rational about anything, including leaving Dad for Jackie?" And then she walked past me. She grabbed my arm really hard, dug her fingers into me. It really hurt.
I'm sure it did. And then what happened?
Well, I told her to keep her hands off me and to go out and cool down. She stormed out and left the house. And I haven't talked with her since.
How often has Lisa treated you this way?
It happened a few times when she was a teenager. And then not again for many years. But in the past few years since I divorced her father, there have been a few situations like this where she just explodes over something. About a year ago, she slapped me in the face. And a few months ago, she called me not a nice name, and threw her cell phone at me. It didn't hit me. It hit the wall next to me. It still scared me, though, because she was in such a rage. And then there was this about a week and a half ago.
I really appreciate you sharing all of this with me. If I heard correctly, in the past, Lisa has called you names, threw a phone at you, which hit the wall, and has slapped you. And then a week ago, she grabbed you by the arm. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Goldie, I'm concerned about the fact that Lisa is physically and emotionally abusing you. And I'd like to discuss some safety planning with you as well as some other interventions. Does that sound okay?
No, it's not okay. None of this is okay. I'm nervous now when she comes over. I want peace in my home. Jackie and I are trying to build a life together in the years that we have left. And we want them to be good years. I love my daughter. But I also want to love her with peace in my heart and not with fear. Now, when she comes over and I can tell she's mad, my insides just do this flip-flop, and I get this really bad feeling.
That makes sense, Goldie. So many forms of abuse can cause trauma, and trauma lives in our bodies. So it makes sense that you feel that way when Lisa's angry. Before I leave today, I'd like to talk to you about some counseling resources for people who have been hurt by others. Is that something you'd be willing to consider?
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
I'd also like to ask you what steps you'd be willing to take to feel safer in your home.
What are my options?
Well, to start, how do you feel about asking Lisa not to visit anymore?
I could do that. But I do want her to visit me in the future. But only if she's calm and not scary and hurtful.
You know her better than I do. Will she stay away if you ask her to?
Yes, I think she will.
Does Lisa have a key to the house?
She does. She sometimes takes care of my cat when I'm out of town.
Is there someone else that can take care of your cat?
Oh, I'm sure I could find someone. And there are pet sitters. But we're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Looking into pet sitters sounds like a great idea. As part of creating a safety plan, would you be willing to change the lock since Lisa has a key?
Yes. I would. I've been wanting one of those locks that have the code locks with the numbers on it. I really like those.
I like those too. No messing with the key.
Mm-hmm.
Here are some resources for that, and a safety planning guide as well. I'd like for us to review this together while I'm here today and decide on the steps you'd like to take. My intention is for you to be safe, and as you described it, to have peace in your home. If Lisa doesn't stay away, or if you feel like she won't, you also have the option of a restraining order issued by the court. If you'd like to pursue that option, I can connect you with an advocate who is specially trained to walk you through the process. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I don't think I'm ready for that step. But if she comes over here against my will, I would be willing to consider it.
If Lisa comes here against your will or threatens you in any way, would you be willing to call 911?
Yes, I can call 911 if I need to. I hope it doesn't come to that.
I hope it doesn't either. But I want you to have a plan to protect yourself. If you decide to pursue a restraining order or have any questions about the process, please let me know. This explains all about the process of filing a restraining order and what to expect, and has the court locations listed on it. It can also be helpful to connect with someone like the advocates I mentioned, who can guide you through this whole process. I work with them often, and I can make a referral.
I'll think about it. And I'll let you know if I want to go this route.
Okay. I'm glad you're willing to consider it. Goldie, earlier I mentioned that APS gathers information in our assessments. A part of that is documenting our observations and what you share with us. I'd like to take some pictures of your bruises. Do I have your permission to do that?
Why do you want to take pictures?
Well, if you allow me to, I will take 3 pictures. one up close of just the bruises, another one of your arm, then one of your whole body. You can sit or stand, whichever you're more comfortable with. I will then upload them into our case management system as part of my full assessment. I am also required to cross-report abuse to law enforcement, which would include the pictures.
I don't know about that. I really don't want her to be in trouble.
That's understandable. We don't know what will or will not happen, and our main concern is you and your well-being. Is it okay if I document your permission to take pictures of you and your injuries?
Yes, you have my permission.
Thank you. Okay, the first one will be up close. Thank you, Goldie. This next one is just of your arm against your body. All right, last one here. You can just look straight ahead and it will be from your waist up. Okay, thank you for letting me take these pictures.
I still just can't believe this is all happening.
That makes sense, Goldie. People typically don't imagine their loved ones will hurt them. I really appreciate you've let me talk with you today about what's been happening. Can we take a look at this safety planning guide? Talk together and decide what steps you want to take.
And it's Ms. Rosenberg for your records. I'm divorced.
I mentioned earlier, I'm here to talk to you about an allegation of physical abuse.